Are carbs bad? This is why cutting them might be killing your results. Not only that, your testosterone, your recovery, and thus your results. And stay tuned in this video because I'm gonna show you what the signs are that you're going too low on carbs and that you probably shouldn't, you should stop cutting them, and how to fix that appropriately so that you can continue recovery, burning that fat, building that muscle, and have a good cut. I used to demonize carbs. I did the carnivore diet a few years ago and I had wonderful results. I read Carnivore MD's, just that book. I think it's Carnivore Diet or Carnivore MD by Paul Saladino. Book changed my life and I got crazy results from it. I felt way healthier and it did a lot of good things, right? And I took the nose to tail diet, the higher fat, lower carb thing to heart. I took that to heart and I essentially demonized carbs. From that point forward, I always kept my carbs lower, my fats and proteins higher and whatnot. And I paid it, I suffered for it. And I didn't realize just how much I was doing to myself to limit my own gains, my own progress until after the fact. My muscles look flatter. I wouldn't recover as well in the gym. Anytime I'd cut, I'd end up running into a wall with insane cravings and not being able to sleep at night. It's not like I wasn't going too hard either. I was doing 3 total body workouts, a little bit of cardio to gain some steps. But because I was lowering my carbs, I was affecting my recovery. I was affecting my stress hormones. I was negatively impacting my cut. It'd lead me to quit, to end up giving up on the cut. I mean, and who can deal with insane cravings and your body fighting against you? No wonder why. And so worst part about that, it ended up challenging my own confidence, my own belief in self that I could do this. And I even started to think that maybe losing weight, maybe being in shape just isn't for me. Maybe it's genetic, right? The worst excuse, maybe it's the pussiest excuse of it all. Maybe it's just genetic. No, it's not. There's always a reason why. So it wasn't until I hired a coach, Wes Watson actually, believe it or not. Love him or hate him, he got me the results and he helped me a lot with my life. But I'm not here to talk about Wes Watson. So I ended up hiring him to coach me and, he set my macros and whatnot and I was going on a limb. I was like, all right, I trust it. Obviously he knows something I don't, let's give it a shot. And my carbs were way higher, my fat was lower, and my protein was lower too. It was just on point. Essentially, I got my macros in check. And it was insane. I'm in this deficit and I still have energy in the gym. I'm still able to go to sleep at night. I'm actually losing the weight. It was insane. And I got crazy results from it. And since then, my perspective has entirely changed. And so this is how it works. What happens when you're working out and you're doing especially when you're dieting, you're raising, it's stress in the body. Albeit it's a positive stress, but it's still a stress in the body. And so that invokes the cortisol hormone. And when you're more stressed, cortisol spikes, right? And whenever you eat carbs, it spikes insulin. But here's the catch. Insulin and cortisol have this inverse relationship. So when you eat carbs, pasta, whatever the fuck that has carbs in it, your insulin's gonna go up and your stress hormone's gonna go down. That's also why you feel pretty lethargic after you eat a big meal, especially if it's very carby and whatnot, because your insulin's spiking. And so you need that. It's a crucial part of recovery, of maintaining testosterone, of burning the fat, of building the muscle, and especially of having the carbs period for the glycogen that goes to your muscles, the actual fuel that fuels you benching, that fuels you sprinting, that fuels you on that Stairmaster, the squats. Our muscles for that type of movement rely on carbs. It ends up being broken down to this sugar, glucose, blah, 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 and ends up at ATP where we're using it as we're benching and whatnot. So if you're cutting carbs, your cortisol is gonna be perpetually spiked and your insulin lower, and you're not gonna be able to recover as well. You're gonna be keeping your body in a sympathetic, stressed out state when we need both. We need to recover too. We need to spike insulin. We need the parasympathetic state. We need to recover, right? And if your cortisol's too high, it's gonna fuck up your sleep. And if your cortisol's too high, it's gonna fuck up your testosterone. And you're gonna end up disappointed, flat muscles. You're gonna end up quitting on a diet. You're gonna end up ending up with a bunch of cravings because your body's screaming for these carbs, right? It needs it. It's a crucial part. So needless to say, I no longer demonize carbs. I use them, and it's made my cuts, it's made my lifts my overall life, to be honest with you, easier, especially fitness wise. I'm stronger in the gym, I recover better, my muscles are fuller, and I'm not perpetually stressed. Not only that, I don't get the post-cut rebound as much or have to freaking quit halfway from these insane cravings I'm getting now. I'm doing things the right way and it feels good and it's effective. So here's how you can use carbs in a cut to make sure that you like your body at the end of it and you can actually follow through with it. First off, you want to make sure your macros are in check. Set your protein, so whatever your calories are, you're gonna wanna make it 35% of your calories going into protein, 20 to 25% going to fat, and the rest, 45% going to carbs. So first off, you wanna make sure you're eating enough carbs, 45% of your calories going there, if you're in a cut, right? Depending on what you're trying to do, I still stick around 40 probably. But at the end of the day, it's an individual basis, and I'm not there holding your hand, or you're not my client, and I'm not your coach, so I don't know what your life is like, and I can't individualize it for you. So take that with a grain of salt. Pay attention to how you feel around it. Maybe you need more. Maybe you're one of the people that thrive off less, especially if you're diabetic, have some insulin resistance, or you have a lot of weight to lose. Chances are you can probably skimp out on carbs, which was a caveat to this video. Keto works, but when you introduce a little bit of carbs, it fucks up. You're not in ketosis anymore, and that's different. Zero carbs is different than low carb. Don't do low carb, do zero carb. So in a cut, the best strategy for you to eat carbs is gonna be one that works with you the most, the strategy that you can follow through on around a lot. So maybe you want to cut carbs in the morning to keep you a little more focused or engaged if you want to be really productive, because carbs spiking the insulin and lowering the stress. Cortisol, a lot of people, including myself, sometimes feels like it can limit productivity, but at the same time, because you're in a deficit, it shouldn't really be that much of an issue. So you can keep your carbs before, a small carb before your workouts, help fuel you through that. Have it after, especially to help the recovery process and replenish your muscles. And for the carb sources, you want to make sure you're opting for whole foods, things like rice, potatoes, bananas. Bananas are a good one. Any carb that you're gonna like, man. Anything you digest well that you can eat and enjoy, you're gonna want it in your diet. You really just gotta understand that carbs are not an enemy, they're a tool, and they serve a specific purpose for you in this cut. Because at the end of the day, your cut, your diet shouldn't feel like a punishment. You should end up loving the results, loving the way you look, loving what you just did with your life. Because it's awesome, it's beautiful. It feels great being lean and being proud, being proud of your reflection for once. But I didn't need to tell you that, come on. So if you got value from this video, go ahead and like it, subscribe, send it to somebody you know who might need it, and support my channel, man, because I'm doing this shit for free. And speaking of free, if this is something you need help with, you want help with, and you don't know where to start, or you just want somebody who knows what they're doing to fast track you to those results, go ahead and book a call with me and I'll hook you up with a free 4-week lifting program to jumpstart your gains so that you can at least have something to leave with. And you leave with a free 4-week program and I'll even show you how to use it. So book a call with me, like, subscribe, appreciate what you're doing. Hopefully this video gave you value.